Hey everybody, welcome back again. And today I'm looking at another fairly new figure. This is one that's actually been out for a month or so, maybe a little bit more. And this is DreamStar Toys Hook Warrior. And this is their latest release in their line of constructicons and their masterpiece scale Devastator. Now you will notice this is a very stylized version of Hook, as with all of their other releases that are coming out of their constructicons. So kind of in the same vein as the '01 Studio Desolator. Very stylized versions of these Constructicons, not what we're accustomed to as our G1 Constructicons that we grew up with. But nevertheless, what struck me as a really cool figure. So I will say that I wasn't initially planning on getting this figure. This is actually the very first DreamStar Toys figures I'm purchasing. So if you recall, or if you're a follower, I know that they had a lot of QC issues with their Aerial Bots releases in the beginning. From what I've heard from some of the other online reviews that are available of this figure, it looks like they've probably resolved a lot of those issues. So at first, I was a little bit tentative about getting this figure, but then I figured, what the heck? It's a really good price of a figure, given how big it is, that it's a masterpiece scale figure, and had seen a couple of the reviews for it and thought, you know what, I guess I'll take a look at this. So let's go ahead and get at it. So looking at him right out of the box, he's kind of boxed, very reminiscent to me of a model kit, actually. He's shrink wrapped. Really big box, really nice artwork on the front. On the front, we've kind of got, it's hard to tell if that's a render or if that's an actual product shot of the figure. But you can see here, very stylized, not what we recognize from our youth looking at the G1 Constructicons and G1 Hook. But there's the front of the box. Top of the box has got, some more artwork. Again, it's really difficult to tell if this is a render or an actual product shot. I think it may be a product shot. Sides of the boxes have just the name and information. This is nothing on the back or on the side here, and then on the back of the box we've got some more product shots showing him in the different configurations. One thing that looks kind of cool here is it looks like that he can be two different parts of the combined Devastator. So it looks like, he's the traditional upper torso area of Devastator, like what we know from G1, but it looks like he can also be what looks to be the right leg of Devastator. So really cool aspect there of being able to interchange the combiner parts and them forming different limbs than they normally would. So let's go ahead and get him opened up and take a look. So he does come in bot mode when we open him up, and he is a pretty large figure too. And in a minute I'll do some comparisons with some of the other masterpiece scale figures that we've got for Devastator right now. So comes with a ton of accessories. So let's look. We've got his crane boom right here, which is really nice looking. It looks painted. There's a lot of extension there, a lot of articulation. I know that you can do several things with this. So you get some articulation up and down on the crane boom. Really cool piston here that kind of gives it that hydraulic look to it. We've got what looks to be a really nice translucent red axe face. It's really nice looking. We've got a crown piece for, I guess, the combined head, the Devastator head. Now, one thing about this, DreamStar Toys looks like they're going to be putting out a version of Prowl that will actually combine with Devastator. And this is something I'm not terribly familiar with, but I believe it's the IDW comic line. There was a storyline where Prowl was able to combine with the other Constructicons to form Devastator. Again, I never read the comics, those IDW comics, so I'm not terribly familiar with that storyline. Sorry, I just know that he did combine with the other Constructicons. So we've got what looks to be an alternate face or alternate mouth for the combined Devastator. So really nice looking there. Then we've got the Devastator head, it looks like. So a really nice face sculpt there on this guy. Really nice eyes. And I don't know if I'm not sure how these pieces go on. Oh, it looks like that just unclips, and then you can clip the Prowlish version of the crown on Devastator here. So very nice looking there. Looks like the faces are easy to swap, or the lower mouth. You get that screaming emoji there. So yeah, really nice looking there. And these are nice snug fit on there. They don't feel loose or like they're going to fall off. I'm not sure what exactly has to be done with this piece here, but I'm sure there's instructions somewhere that discuss it. And then we've got another blaster, and this actually, to me, looks very similar to Prowl's gun from G1, so I have to wonder if maybe that will go with their version of Prowl that comes out. It kind of looks like one of the missile launchers that mounted over his shoulders. And then we've got another piece of what looks to be a blaster here. Those kind of look like they peg into each other also. And that pegs in there, it looks like. So very nice, very nicely painted. There's some nice metallic red on this. Looks like there's a handle here that folds down. Yeah. And then we've got the chest piece here that is part of the Devastator combined mode upper torso. So very nice there. I really like that purple color. I really like the green here too. Both of these are a little bit of a departure from the traditional Devastator. So this nice metallic purple and this metallic almost forest green, I would say. Really nice. And then we have the figure himself. So he's actually, by himself, is a lot heavier than I anticipated. Sometimes I never really know with these third-party companies that don't have as big of a name as, say, like X-Transbots or, you know, Fans Toys. I always kind of wonder what's the weight on these figures going to be, and are they going to feel sturdy? Are they going to feel, you know, beefy and durable, like they'll hold up to, you know, handling them? But let's take a look at them. So really nice head sculpt on this figure. Really nice. He's got some translucent red there for the eyes. I don't know if there's any light piping. It looks like maybe there's a battery compartment for light up features. I'm not sure if this guy has light up features. I need to take a look. But let's take a look at his backpack. So a little bit of a backpack, not terrible though. I mean, it melds really well in with the regular rest of the figure. Got some nice ratchet joints here. Let's take a look at the articulation. So the head looks like it's on a ball joint, so it goes all the way around. You get some up, you get some down, you can get some side to side. The arms, looks like they don't quite go, they can go around, but they're a little bit hindered by this piece of the backpack here. But it looks like those ratchets are all the way around. They go up. Those tires are actually really nice. They feel like a really hard rubber on them. They don't feel hollow either. They feel solid and rugged. But we get arm up at the shoulders. We do get a bicep swivel. And we get elbow. We get a little bit more than 90 degrees on the elbow, but not by much. And then we get all the way around at the wrist. And then looking at the fingers, fingers have a pin at the knuckles, at the base of the fingers, and another joint at the upper knuckles towards the end of the fingers. Only one finger is independently articulated, and then the thumb is on a ball joint as well. It looks like it's got two joints on the thumb, so you can get some nice articulation there. At the waist, don't think we have an ab crunch. And there's something here that feels really soft, almost like, you know, that kind of hard plastic like you expect to see in Marvel Legends figure, where it's, you know, it's not brittle, it's kind of soft and flexible, but not rugged and hard. But yeah, I don't see anywhere in here where there's an ab crunch. I may be missing something, but at the waist we get all the way around. It's on a nice ratchet. The legs all the way up on a ratchet. We do have thigh swivel. And at the knee, we get a little bit more than 90 degrees, not a whole lot. It's impeded by some of this kibble on the back of the legs. And then looking at the feet, you do get ankle tilt. You get toe down. There's some extra articulation here. I guess if you wanted him grabbing onto a limb or something like that, like a bird, you could get a little bit of that, but you don't get much up. The joints are nice and firm. They don't feel cheap to me. That ratchet sounds really nice. Still am not seeing anywhere where there may be... It feels like there's something here that wants to crunch. I mean, there's a little bit of rotation here down, but I may be missing something here as far as it not releasing and not letting it crunch all the way down. But yeah, I mean, overall, a really nice figure. As a first-time purchaser of a DreamStar Toys figure, I have to say I'm really happy with it. I didn't get the first figure in this line, which was their version of Scrapper. But now that I've taken a look at this and handling this, I may go back and get that. I really like it. I'm not typically one for the stylized figures, but just a couple of these companies here recently that are putting out these stylized figures, I do like them. And this one definitely included. He's bigger than I thought he would be. So let's just take a look at him in comparison. Now, I'm not going to do a one-for-one character comparison with some of the other Masterpiece scale Constructicons, but I'll bring in some of the others. So let's take a look at him. This is him next to the Fans Toys version of Scrapper. So you can see he's, you know, roughly the same height, maybe a little bit shorter, just by a hair. But you can obviously see the stylization that this guy's got. He's not for a G1 purist at all. And let's take a look at him next to the X-Transbots version of Long Haul. So he is a little bit taller than that figure. This is the Toy Deco version of Long Haul. And then let's take a look at him next to one of the other stylized Constructicons, and that's the O1 Studio, their version of Long Haul. So you can see he's a lot smaller than this guy. These O1 Studio figures just look like they're massive. I don't know if he's an indicator of how big the other ones in this series are going to be, but he is just massive. I would say he's oversized as far as Masterpiece scale. He just seems too big to be in with Masterpiece figures, but that gives you a little bit of an idea of how big these are compared to these guys. So yeah, taking a look at the figure, I really do like it. I would recommend it. You know, if somebody out there is kind of on the fence about this company and doesn't really know what to expect, I don't see any glaring QC issues in it. He feels like a very quality figure. The ratchets, the articulation, everything about him seems very, very nice. I'm super happy with it. So that's it for this. We'll come back in a minute and we'll show his alt mode and just keep an eye out for the short that'll have that and maybe some one-to-one comparisons. But again, if you like this content, please like, please subscribe. I'll keep doing these, and I may have some more stylized figures coming down the road. Thanks for watching, everybody.